Now we are headed to Yorkshire, which I guess we could have done on the way down from Warrington, but the thing is, I like being on the battle bus. So I always like the trip to last as long as possible. So we're heading up to Yorkshire. So this is going to be fish and chips, because we're going to meet Ben Pickles, the Labour candidate for Wetherby and Easingwold. And the thing is, I know what's coming, and I never like to give it away, but I like to sort of hint at it. But Ben is a very impressive person, and that's all I shall say at the start. But let's get some chips in Wetherby with Ben Pickles, the Labour candidate. Ben, you're the Labour candidate in Wetherby and Easingwold, which is it fair to say that this is just a rebranded Elmet and Rothwell constituency? Is there much difference between the two?
There's significant differences actually, Matt. Yeah, because it takes wards that are under Leeds Council down in Wetherby, in West Yorkshire, up to all the way up to Easingwold in North Yorkshire. So it crosses the two councils. We've got wards from the Harrogate district as well. So it's an interesting constituency. It looks like a number 8 on the constituency map. And, people wrongly are assuming that it's a safe Tory seat, but the MRP polling and our data on the ground suggests that people are coming over to Labour. So there you go.
Excellent. I mean, it is a brilliant part of the world. You've got Wetherby and Tadcaster in there. You're just in between Harrogate and York, just north of Leeds. I mean, you've been out in Tadcaster today. Mm-hmm. The Taddy Lager, as anyone who's ever been to a Sam Smith's pub will tell you, it is delicious. I don't know if you're drinking much of it this campaign.
No, well, we're campaigning every single day. We do a lot of work in Selby with Keir Mather, because that's our closest twin seat. But yeah, when we're campaigning on a Friday night and we've finished talking to people on the doorsteps at 8 o'clock, then why not pop for a local lager, especially while the footy's on? Why not?
And you've got some great pubs as well, Wetherby, and a great chip shop in Wetherby, the Wetherby Whaler.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I went there on the day of our launch. It felt appropriate, to celebrate with my family. I've got 2 young kids, so I thought, when all the busyness was done, let's go over and have a bit of food.
And Wetherby was where the former Leeds boss Marcelo Bielsa lived for a bit. So it sort of became a bit of a shrine for Leeds fans. I don't know if you're a Leeds fan yourself.
No, I'm not. I mean, my granddad took me to Ellen Road while I was growing up. I was based in Bradford growing up, so we've got some great local West Yorkshire teams. But yeah, there's a lot of support for Leeds everywhere we go, especially down the south of the constituency. So
other
it
things
was a bit
going
gutting
on
that they didn't go up, right?
Obviously, there are other things going on at the moment other than football. So, what are the big issues in the constituency?
I think the big issues tie to the national issues. So we've got a lot of towns in our constituency, northern towns that have been neglected. They need that regeneration. And so when Angela Rayner and others are talking about improving our high streets, banking hubs today are a big part of that, tackling antisocial behaviour, but also regenerating them so that they have new life breathed into them. I think that's a big issue, from Boroughbridge to Easingwold to Tadcaster, like I'm in now. Yeah, Wetherby. That, alongside economic security, lots of people are saying their mortgages have gone up. Even people who are renting, they've had that knock-on effect. I've just had a family today in the last 15 minutes say they want politics to be politics. People to get on with the job so that they can get on with their lives. And that's absolutely what I agree with.
And what got you into politics? Did you grow up in a political household?
No, so I grew up with just my mum. I was the first one to go to uni, and it was in my A-levels. I just started studying government and politics, and I found it really interesting. And that took me on to a mainly politics degree, which I started at Newcastle, finished at Leeds Beckett because my son was born. And I joined the Labour Party when I was around 17 because I knew what I believed in, which was closing the gap and improving equal opportunities to kids like me. I was a teenage parent, so my kids had a little bit of a tougher start than maybe I'd have expected. And yeah, making sure that they get the opportunity, because the kids themselves, our young people, don't choose where they're born, who they're born into, which family, but they've got potential, right? And It's about giving them those opportunities. So I've been a member of the Labour for quite a long time. I've stood for council elections, and a couple of years ago, I put myself forward for the parliamentary uh, shortlisting, I guess. And here we are.
I mean, you don't muck about, Ben. Do you know what I mean? You're 29. You've got
Mhm.
2 kids. You're standing for Parliament. I mean, you're someone who's doesn't let life hold them back. You get stuck straight in. Do you think that is? Do you think that is a product of coming from a single parent family that you just sort of have to get on with it and make something of your life pretty sharpish?
Maybe. I think, you know, when difficult things happen, we choose to either fight or we choose to not. And I very much think that although it was difficult, especially when, my little boy was born, when Georgina and I were 19, I very much didn't want to get in a place where I felt stuck. I wanted to still um, chase my dreams, chase my ambitions while raising a family where they could chase theirs. I think to an extent, yeah, some people have that chip on their shoulder, and they know that life was a little bit tough growing up, but that makes you want to change the world more. So perhaps yes, yeah, maybe you're right. I don't see it that way. Though I just think whatever obstacle comes, I've overcome quite a few hurdles so far. The next one, surely I can overcome that as well.
How on earth do you juggle being a young parent with a degree?
Um, my wife has been brilliant, and she was at the time. So back at university, Georgina started university, did a first year, Matt, and then we found out she was pregnant with my second child, my little girl. And so at 3 months old, she went into nursery alongside her older brother, but she still needed feeding. So Georgie would, at lunchtime every single day, leave her art studio. She did an art degree, go up to childcare, feed my little girl, and then go back. So, I mean, I hope I played my part in that. And Georgie likes to say I do, but I don't think I could ever compete with that to, manage your degree while having essentially a newborn child and feeding her at lunchtime, sometimes a couple more times during the day because she didn't like a bottle. And yeah, I don't know. I knew that if I think my thought, Matt, was at the time, if I step away from a degree, I might never go back. So, children or not, we're going to make it work. And we have, I think, so far.
Of course you have. You are incredible people. You've done so much with your life. You've managed to keep going through the privilege of being a parent and all the joy I'm sure it brings you. But that is not easy getting through that. The rich life experience you've got, and you're not even 30 yet. I mean, imagine what you do the next 10 years. I mean, do you feel like whatever happens in this election, you have a future in politics that you would stand again?
Uh, Perhaps. I mean, like I said, this election, some strange things are going to happen in seats up and down the country. If people go and vote for that change, and they do need to go out and vote for it, of course. But I love my job as a teacher. I love being in education because I think we all make a change every single day, and it's hard to remember that. It's hard to keep that optimism, but you do change a child's life, many of them every single day. I wanted to step up into politics because I see the limitations of what we can do in school. And that's the same probably in every sector and every job, right, Matt? And I just think I've got a vision of what I would do for those kids who are underperforming, those children with special educational needs and disabilities. I have experience there. I know what I think is holding schools back. So it's not a dead certain, no. I love my job. I love my career. I'm quite happy in education. I just think we need people in Parliament who have experience within that role, within that sector. So we're leading, from experience and from the data and from the ground.
I mean, you are such an impressive person, and like just so much like maturity and vision and drive and energy. I think so many people, wherever they live in the country, are going to listen to you and just the urgency with which you speak and just be completely inspired.
Well, I hope so. And like I said, I think it's so easy to just get bogged down in the I'm not making a difference. Today was not good. The country's not in a great way. We know that. I wouldn't be standing for Labour if it was. But we've got to offer a positive change. And we've got to think that we can do better. This is a great country. It's a great constituency, like you said. It's got so many different quirks and amazing local villages, but we've got to utilize that. We've got to think that we can do it better. Because when my little boy's 9, nearly 10, Matt, my little girl's just gone 8. They need to have a future. They need to have homes that they can move into and jobs that they can thrive in. So we've just got to believe that we can make a positive change.
Well, this is what a phenomenal note to end on. Ben, thank you so much for joining us, and we will be watching on July the 4th to see if you win in Wetherby. Ben, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Matt.
Ben Pickles there. It blows my mind that he is 29. Now, I realise, depending on, there might be people even younger than 29 listening to this. I hope there are. So 29, when you're 18, you think, oh, well, you've had a few years of adulthood by then. But my God, for a politician, it is young. And the way that he has lived his life, it's just, it's not about that if you don't do it the way he's done it, it's wrong. It's just there's something about the fact that he just sort of was like, well, I'm going to stay at university despite having a child. Like, that problem-solving ability. And it's not just about that. It's like, that won't have been easy. And that is, I realise I'm wildly understating that. That's just incredible, him and his wife. And getting into politics so young and standing for Parliament so young and being so articulate, being a challenge. Sometimes I think there's articulate in the sense of being well-spoken, using interesting words, or just simply making your point well. But I always find it really impressive when people it's the way people talk that makes an impact on you sometimes. It's the passion behind the words. And it's not that you have to rant and rave. I think people mistake aggression for charisma sometimes, or for or even the fact that it might impress people. It impresses a small amount of people, usually on the fringes, but there's something about people with drive. There is an urgency about the way they speak, and Ben absolutely has that. What an amazing final stop. We're all at the Wetherby Whaler. We're all having fish and chips. Well, I'm not. I'm allergic to fish. I'm having battered sausage. Okay, if you're going to twist my arm, 2 battered sausages, chips and curry sauce. And, well, if you fancy a flutter on the horses, let's go to Wetherby Races, and I will pick you up same time tomorrow.